I am now joined by Stephen Manning of Rob the Nation. That's a local Cork band. Stephen, how's it going, man? First of all, cheers for coming in anyway, first of all.
No bother.
I'm going to start off by asking you, Rob the Nation. I told a few things first when I heard the name, but how did it come about, the name? Or, well, first of all, I'll go back and I'll actually ask you how your group came together first.
The Cork VEC scheme was I run like a youth project over in Ballyfihan, and they decided that they wanted to do a 2-week music workshop. And I wasn't there from the very start, but the lads were saying that they just loved it so much they wanted to kind of keep it going as a regular thing. And then I came in a couple of months later to do a songwriting workshop with them. And they had no drummer at the time, so I filled in as their drummer until the guitar player left, and I kind of moved on then into the guitar place, which is where I prefer.
Which is your area.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually drum were you ever actually a drummer until then, or was it just a matter of I'll give it a go?
No, I was playing drums since I was about 3 or 4, I'd say. And just kind of the guitar and the drums really are my main kind of 2 instruments. So with this band though, I like playing the guitar with them there.
No, I'll probably ask you more about instruments in a second, but Rob the Nation, where did the name come from?
Well, the bass player Graham, one of his friends' dads was after passing away, and his name was Rob, so they wanted to kind of get that into the name somewhere. And we were in a recession at the time, so Rob the Nation.
So it kind of went hand in hand, if you like.
Yeah.
Cool enough though that you bring in the name. That's a really cool thing to do. I actually haven't heard of that since I've been interviewing bands, but that's really cool. Another thing, you do write your own music, don't you?
Yeah.
I ask every writer this: how do you do it? Because for me, I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah. Well, myself personally, normally I'd have a riff or something on the guitar, and I kind of work with some melodies and start putting a bit of lyrics to them. But that's kind of more with my own stuff. With the band, then I might have a little kind of like guitar idea. I'd go in and Chris, our singer, would put he'd put like a couple of lyrics he might have to it, and together then like Graham would throw in the bass, and Owen throw in a bit of keyboard, so it just kind of comes together.
Yeah, it'll come together, then a lot of mixing and fun, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
You said obviously you're playing your guitar since you're 3 years of age, so music is a big part of you. Did you just love it straight away?
Yeah, like my dad was playing the guitar for a while, so I suppose when I was younger, listening to him playing the guitar, I always kind of said to myself, "Oh, I'd love to be like that." And then watching people like Rory Gallagher and stuff really just made me want to start playing the guitar and just having music really as my kind of path, I suppose.
So I'm assuming your father and Rory Gallagher would be major influences of yours.
Yeah.
Would you have any other influences?
Eric Clapton would be another really big influence. And I've always kind of listened to Metallica. But lately I'm starting to get into, because like the band really, a lot of like the bass player and the singer now in the band are well into the Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I'm starting to get into them. And Arctic Monkeys as well. So
coming from every direction, so
yeah.
really, isn't it? Your genre of music, what is it for you? Or do you have one? Do you have plenty?
I suppose mainly rock, but kind of the indie side of it. It depends, because like we all have kind of different influences, I suppose, and different tastes in music. So we just try getting what we can into the music.
And in maybe 5 years' time, where would you like to see your band? A bit of a hard one, but
yeah.
I said I'd ask you.
I suppose hopefully still together as a band. But
that's always a good start.
Yeah. But even if we're not together as a band, I know we're all dedicated enough about the music, so hopefully we'll all still be giving it our best, really, and just trying to hopefully stay together musically.
You've done plenty of gigs so far as a band, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've played in the Everyman, haven't you?
Yeah, the Everyman is part of the Cork Rocks, and we've done the Opera House before that as a part of the Cork Rock segment run by Stephen Manning Sr. And
yourself, you're only actually 15 years old.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to be, up on stage, rocking out and have people kind of screaming and you're having a great time? It must be a great buzz, is it?
Yeah, it's a brilliant buzz, really. Like, I suppose you're always kind of nervous for the sound check. Really, you're really nervous, and especially just before you go out. But within the first song, especially when the crowd are getting well into it, it kind of makes everything worthwhile. There's a great atmosphere between like the band up on stage. Everyone's enjoying it. The crowd is getting into it. So, you can't. There's nothing like it, really.
It's almost addicting, I'd say.
Yeah.
Steve, going to ask you now about the X Factor. I do this every week. I want to know, if the X Factor was to come to town tomorrow, would you yourself go down and yourself and your band go down and say, hey, let's give it a crack? Would you go for it?
Yeah, I suppose I would.
You would? Well, you're my first, because the other guys, they had no interest. So I'm one up anyway. That's okay. Why would you do it?
I don't know, just for the experience. Like myself, like there has been a good few singers come out of the X Factor, but it can be very karaoke. But for the sake of it, I'd give it a go just to.
Why not? What's the worst that can happen,
Yeah.
really? You know. And when I mention worst band moments for you.
I suppose that would have been a couple of months ago, just before Christmas. The bass player was doing an apprenticeship for work, and he found out that he was going to have to move to Clare for a good couple of months. So
yeah, it'd be dodgy trying to put stuff together, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then the drummer kind of packed it in. He just had enough of it. So we were left with only the three of us in the band. So it was a bit of a hard knock to go from, like, up until that we were gigging a lot. We were kind of starting to build a name for ourselves.
I know we kind of just stopped for a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, we're just kind of focusing on writing a bit more songs now, and just kind of getting more gig material together, a proper set list and stuff. And we're kind of in a recording process now at the moment, out with Harley Spilsbury out in Bishopstown. So that's a good experience though. So.
Well, I mean, the main thing is you keep going, you haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the key, isn't it? You got to keep going and keep doing stuff.
Yeah.
Fun went off there, but we'll move past that. That's okay. In contrast, your best moment as a band?
One of them, I suppose, would be in UCC Rocks the Quad, out in the Quad in UCC. We supported Paige Richardson from the X Factor, and there was a good couple of great bands played at that. But the crowd there, all kind of more or less the same age as us as well. So we got a great buzz off them, and we were signing autographs and everything afterwards, which was different to what we're used to.
For yourself, as a guy still in school doing his leaving cert, and you're out at UCC rocking gigs and signing autographs, how did that feel?
It's kind of mind-blowing at the start. It's a bit shocking, you know, you don't know what to expect. Like, we were kind of we had all of our gear put together, walking out to the car. And there was a woman came over that her daughter and a couple of her friends wanted her autograph, so we were like, oh, this grand, expecting a kind of handful of people. They had like a barrier, there was just a load of like people behind it, sticking out like their shoes, bits of paper, everything, just to get us to sign. So it was a good moment.
Well, obviously, it must have been a great moment, really.
Yeah.
I can imagine, I've never actually had the privilege of giving someone my autograph,
Yeah.
but I can imagine it would be quite surreal. I'm going to play a track for you now. It's called Rock the World. Can you tell me what it's about?
Basically, it's about just becoming a band and kind of taking over the world with music, I suppose. It was one of the first songs we wrote together as a band. So we've been playing it for a while. We have pride in the song because it was our first kind of real,
Of course, yeah,
proper
you know.
thing. But yeah, basically it's just about becoming a big band and putting in work, and hopefully
You will
taking
be
over the world.
someday, right? This is Steve Manning and Rob the Nation. This one is Rock the World. If it'll play for me now.
Did you ever get this sudden urge to get out and rock that world? As you gotta tune and gotta go with the flow. 'Cause when the beat drops down, you just put on a good show. Because we got screaming girls from every corner of the world. Gotta get your goddamn voice out if you wanna be heard. You're like a prophet who's profitless with a useless speech. I'm telling you now that there's no stopping this, there's nothing to teach. Everyone in the audience singing along. We're all the nation and this is our song. Did you ever get this sudden urge to get out and rock that world? To take home what you deserve and do so with our nerves. Growing up as a kid, it's either far-fetched to wanna grow up being the best. I could sit out and wait, maybe one day Madison Square headline the stage with an army of fans. Right there before us, and maybe a letter from those who adore us. When the day comes, when I'm on top, jump up and down, 'cause I'm ready to rock. Did you ever